Jennifer, thank you so much. I want to turn to our political analyst, Andra Gillespie, right now, who's joining us in the studio with some perspective. Andra, let me just read to you the headline from the New York Daily News. This was just some days ago. Race, sex, and petty politics threaten to end 40-year streak of black leadership in Black Mecca of Atlanta. Fair description of this race?
I think the headline is a little bit overblown, but race is very much at the subtext of this race. And all of the polling, public and some of the internal polling that I've even been a part of myself, suggests that the vote is going to be racially polarized. And given the more even racial dynamics in the city and demographics in the city, with a shrinking black population, that means that turnout is crucial. So whichever demographic turns out at the higher rate is likely going to end up carrying the race. So if white voters turn out at a higher rate than blacks, Mary Norwood is likely to be the next mayor of Atlanta, but if blacks turn out at a higher rate, it's likely that Keisha Lance Bottoms will be the mayor.
Some political analysts have said that our current mayor, Kasim Reed, is the reason why some progressives are supporting Norwood. When did Reed become this thorn in Keisha's side?
Well, a lot of this probably has to do with corruption. So corruption is one of the top issues in this particular race. And so because there is an ongoing investigation, the Norwood campaign has made hay of that. And that's probably influenced some of the endorsements. And so people who are having a hard time making distinctions between these two candidates who have somewhat similar resumes in terms of their elective office background, this is a way to make distinctions between them. And so people who like Shirley Franklin, people who voted for Kathy Willard in particular, are looking at those endorsements, and they may be using that to make decisions about who to vote for.
Yeah, and those two folks, they're now supporting Norwood. We've seen hashtag End the Corruption being used by the Norwood campaign whenever they're sending out retweets or tweets. So all of the campaigning we saw this weekend with Keisha Lance Bottoms, she brought in some big political heavyweights. We know that Cory Booker is now supporting her, Kamala Harris. Do you think any of those last-minute endorsements, national endorsements, pushed her a little bit over the edge a little bit?
So it's hard to tell because people weren't necessarily out in the field in the same way. I have unreleased data that does kind of straddle that, but chances are I'm not going to be able to capture anything in the data. What this does do is that this does make the race about party, and that was the way that Kasim Reed successfully beat Mary Norwood in 2009 by implying that she wasn't a real Democrat. And so
it was close, like 700 votes.
Yeah. So
right?
so I think what the Bottoms camp is banking on is the fact that, especially in this partisan polarized environment that we live in nationally, that voters in Atlanta will prefer somebody who is explicitly Democratic.
All right. Well, the world is watching today. Thank you so much, Andra. And she'll be back actually tonight with more election coverage. And we'll have complete coverage all day long here on air and online. Download the 11 Alive app if you want election results pushed straight to your phone. Chesley,